Welcome to Martini Time. Now, I started off this morning talking about Trump and ambiguity, and I've been pulling this Ariadne's thread out of the labyrinth all day. And if I can't come to you with some excitement, I'm not going to come at all. But so I get excited about these discoveries, and because my life is really kind of like, I call it the going along the Dharma Trail. And the Dharma Trail is following the scent of truth, following the clues of insights, like you're following the spoor of a unicorn. And so here's an insight. Yeah, it's unicorn. So basically that's what I do, and I do it on Facebook. If you hang around my comments and quotes and stuff like that, you see. And so I come here in the evening to have a martini with you and to share my excitement. And so anyway, let's get back to Trump. My spores of truth today have been following this idea of ambiguity, because Trump is an enigma in American history. He's driving the media nuts. He's Trump all day, Trump all night. You wake up with Trump, you go to bed with Trump, 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 you see. Why? I'm interested. Well, this idea of ambiguity, let's see if we can flesh this out a little bit. And I have the title here that I put on this talk is Trump is androgynous. That should get some attention. Now, a rock star is androgynous. Izzy is androgynous. The Brits are really famous for androgyny. They're rock stars. The Beatles, see, were they androgynous? Well, they had long hair. Okay. Man or woman, that was big. In the 50s, men had short hair, women had long hair. If a man had long hair, he was male, female. And then that kind of like progressed into the 70s with the rock stars blooming. Mick Jagger and all the rest of them, they came out lipstick. Halfway, what's his name? Can't think of a name, but the rock star is an androgynous being. I just went to see Hedwig and the Angry Inch, and that's about androgyny. Male, LBGT is about androgyny. Transgender, male-female bathroom, which is which, you see. This androgyny is a metaphor for the union of opposites. Sex is the union of opposites. And it's very energizing. It creates energy when the opposites come together, you see. And this goes back to Plato's myth, which is the myth that the Hedwig and the Angry Inch was founded on, was the original man was 2 heads, 4 arms, 4 legs. And they were very stable because they combined in themselves the opposites, the polarity of the universe. Negative, positive. They held the polarity. And that generates energy when you hold the polarity. That's what a battery does. It holds polarity. You could plug it in and turn on your lights. A nuclear reactor holds polarity, you see, and generates energy. So polarity held in a metaphor or a container or a circuit or whatever generates energy. You see? So ambiguity is polarity, a polarity that you can't choose between. Both are valid. It's ambiguous. You see? So how is Trump androgynous? Meaning androgyny, kind of like a metaphor for or symbol of ambiguity. 2 in 1. 2 in 1. Well, he displays it all the time by taking both sides at once. He contradicts himself even in the same tweet. And the news just goes crazy over it. What did Trump say today? Today he said the Russian thing is a hoax and Obama caused it. So he's constantly taking threading the needle. So this is art. Now an artist contains ambiguity in the art, and the art generates power. A comic generates laughter because of his irony, and irony is ambiguity. Irony is two things at once. And the skill of the artist is to put the two things at once into a story or a performance. And the tension of the ambiguity, see, ambiguity has tension. Laughter releases the tension. My uncle was a skilled, he loved irony. And so he would leave little things like this all over the house. And you would go by and you say, oh my God, somebody spilled nail polish. Somebody spilled nail polish on the, it's fake. Irony, you see? Is it real or is it not? For a moment you think it's real, but it's not, you see. And so the tension of, oh my God, somebody spilled that on their beautiful furniture, the tension of that is released when you see that it's fake. Oh, it's called a joke, you see. However, irony as a performance generates power. So now what is the art? So I begin to inquire into the relationship between Trump and his base. Now, Trump embraces ambiguity. This is new. That used to be the death knell for a politician. It's called flip-flopping. Kerry got defeated because he had the flip-flop hung around his neck. See, and in the past, you just had to point out 2 or 3 flip-flops and you were cooked. And Trump flip-flops as a practice. What's the difference? He's not flip-flopping. Trump is not yes today and no tomorrow. And then, you see what I mean? Flip-flopping is, I'm for it today. And then tomorrow, I'm against it. I'm firmly in that. And then the next day, I'm for it. I really mean that. And then the next day, I'm against it. Trump is not doing that. Trump is doing, I'm yes, no. You see, his performance. So he willfully, innocently embraces both sides. So this creates, for his base, a reflection of their terror. Now his base is a third of the people. His base is primarily a section of the economy, the people, who are displaced, who have lost power, jobs, security, money, identity, recognition, all of that, you see. And so to them, the modern world is uncertain. And ambiguity is uncertain. That's why we don't like it. We can't stand it. We have to find certainty. You can't be both rich and poor at the same time. You have to be either poor or rich. You can't be happy and sad simultaneously. You have to be happy or sad. So our world is divided into either or. You see, one or the other. Choose. But ambiguity is you can't choose. They're both equal, you see. It's called a double bind. No matter what you do, you lose, lose. And Trump comes along and says, no matter what you do, we're going to win-win. Now, how are you going to win-win in a lose-lose world? Well, you win-win by performing ambiguity. You are not either one or the other, but you skillfully embrace both at the same time. So this way, his base, when they see this performance of embracing the very ambiguity that they are terrified of, he affirms them. He affirms their ambiguity, their uncertainty, by embracing ambiguity. And Trump, you see, Trump, being an androgynous person, is uncertain about himself. So he is affirmed by the applause of his base. So each affirms, validates the other. So that's why he keeps going back to Trump rallies. A Trump rally is like a rock concert. You have an androgynous people who embraces the male-female ambiguity of our nature. We're all male-female, but each of us chooses to front one or the other. So I choose to front male, but I have an inner female. And if you're male, if you're female, you choose to front male, but you have an inner male. You see? So we're all androgynous. But so the rock star displays both simultaneously. And that generates energy, and it reflects the true nature, the wholeness of his base, his audience. So Trump reflects the ambiguity of the modern world that is constantly getting us in a double bind, where it's lose-lose. If I play the game, I lose. If I don't play the game, I lose. If I obey the rules, I lose. If I don't obey the rules, I lose. Lose-lose. Ambiguous, you see. You can't choose win in an ambiguous situation. So that's his base. And so when he performs, he creates a feedback loop that each validates the others, like lovers. A pair of lovers create a energy. They call it love, but it's an energy, you see. It's a feedback loop that self-feeds each other, so it keeps growing into ecstasy. That's what sex is. You start off separate and you keep working it together until you reach, boom, the ecstasy of union, you see. So Trump is basically having sex with his base. You see? They're in each other's eyes, you see. They see each other and go, wow, 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 yeah, yeah. And if anybody intrudes that doesn't see this love affair, somebody raise a sign, you see, get him out of here, and the whole organism rises up. You see, don't objectify us. Don't objectify our love affair, you see. Lovers don't want to be taken pictures of. Lovers don't want to be seen. They want to get off. Because when they're not being seen, they fall into each other's eyes and become one with the other. So Trump and his base become one with each other, you see. Boom. And they don't want to be objectified by reason and logic, because it's not logical. It's ambiguous. You see? Logic can't stand ambiguity. Our whole civilization is based on Descartes. Truth is clear and distinct ideas. Truth is not, it is this and not that at the same time. That's magic. That's art, you see. That's religion. So, what we're looking at here is Trump as art, performance. And people have been saying that all the time. But we're really trying to understand why performance works. Because the artist heals the ambiguity in the audience by embracing the ambiguity in his act. That's what art does. Art heals by transcending the ambiguity or division in the viewer. And it creates a new being. So Trump in his base is a new being. They create a child together, and it's called Trumpism. He would not exist without his base, and the base wouldn't exist without him. You see. Each depends upon the other. So this is an energy. And the poor GOP Republicans recognize this. So they are held hostage by this love affair of Trump and his base, this rock star, this rock music, you see. And the Democrats are kind of helpless because they don't have a Trump. They don't have they've always been dissonant voices, different tribes, you see. So Trump is a new phenomenon because he is politics as performance. So it doesn't make a whit what he does, what policy he has, what he stands for. That doesn't mean a thing. It's the performance that matters. The message is the medium, not what he says. Now, what happened here now is that Trump, this was a very successful performance on the candidate field because he performed and wiped out all of the contestants like a beauty pageant, one by one, wiped them out. But then he moves into a new field. Now he's moved into the field of the presidency. Now the presidency as an office is the voice of the people. So the presidency as an office derives its power, you see, because the individual who is elected president surrenders his personality, the power of his personal will, and becomes the office of the presidency, which is the head of all the people. So the presidency unites the dissonance and fragmentation of the people in his person. He gives a flesh and blood, he gives his flesh and blood to the office of the presidency. And the presidency, because he speaks for the nation, the president is the voice of the nation, cannot be ambiguous. The president has to speak with clear and distinct ideas, you see. And Trump, who speaks with ambiguous words, is not fitting into the presidency. They are contradictory, and a tension is building between the function of the role of the presidency and the role of the performer. For him to be a president, he has to give up his performance, which is his power. And that's the double bind of Trump. He can't give up his power to be the president because it was his power that got him to the presidency. It's like an artist giving up his creativity in order to be an artist. Or it's like a teacher who gives up his need to be a teacher in order to be a teacher. I know that well. You see, or the Gnostic, in order to know God, you have to give up your desire to know God. See. So, just like in Hedwig, who said, I forgot forget it. But, so you see where we're going with this. It creates this conflict between, well, you have this whole modern, secular, humanistic, liberal civilization that we've built since the Enlightenment, and primarily since World War II, with the advent of mass production of technology and consumer goods. So everybody gets to live like an aristocrat, you see. This civilization that we've built is a rational, logical, scientific civilization. And it demands that. Journalism, media, science, academia, education, it's all based on logic and thinking and reason, cause and effect. It's not based on art. Now, a theocracy is a political art, you see. Religion is based on metaphor, you see. In other words, so most people don't see it that way, but Joseph Campbell did. Religion is mythology. Mythology is metaphor. Metaphor is art. So if you're going to understand religion, you have to understand art. And so we're in a problem with religion today because we want to try to understand religion through logic and reason, and it doesn't fit. But anyway, so this whole problem we're in today is that Trump has created an island of irrationality in a sea of rationality. It's like in Zen, it's called this hot iron ball that you swallow, and you can't swallow it because it's hot and you can't cough it up. Or it's the rat that goes into a bamboo tube. It can't go forward and it can't go back. So Trump is like that rat. You can't go back, he's stuck there. You see, he's in our craw. He's in this political system. He's in this civilization. He's in this rational world, like like Mr. Bean. Mr. Bean, if you remember watching, he kind of like levitates down into this British world here and then starts running around, causing havoc, you see. So Trump is kind of levitated down into this rational world, creating havoc, you see. Now, so what's the wide picture here? What's the wide angle? You see, what's the end game here? You can't have a rational, scientifically based country run by a joker or a wild card or ambiguity that is all things at once, you see. So this is a temporary phenomenon. There's not going to be any more Trumps to come along. This is a wild card. Suddenly there's a joker in the deck and it screws everything up. I mean, we're playing cards and suddenly the joker comes out. We didn't know it was in the deck. So what does the joker do? It's the trickster. The joker is that variable that your best laid plans never planned on. The joker is that unexpected event, unseen event that screws up your plan that had been perfectly running for so long. The joker is that event that you had insurance policies to prevent, that every insurance policy that you could buy to prevent that accident from happening, and it happens, you see. So the joker is that element in human life that cannot be prevented. Terrorism performs that function. You can't get rid of it. You kill one, you create 20. So this variable is there because it creates the need for transcendence. It creates the need for a bigger boat. It creates the need for evolution. See, we have to evolve. Our system has been locked in gridlock for 50 years. Our political system has been locked in ambiguity, left, right, left, yes, no, no, yes. We can't choose forward. We can't get out of the talking heads that counter each other and cancel each other's argument. Media is the perfect field for this. Media exists to create attention. That's what entertainment is. Entertainment means, look at me. I'm entertaining. It doesn't mean it's fun. It means look at me. So media, the purpose of media is to have you look at it. And it looks at, and you get it, they get to look at it by creating tension, ambiguity. Which is it? That's why we watch mysteries. Who did it? I don't know. It's ambiguous. Until finally, boom, 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 we see. I can turn the damn thing off now. I know who did it. You see. But until that, I gotta watch. I can't turn it off until I find out who did it. That tension, you see. See what I mean? So Trump comes along, plop, you see, and he's disrupted the whole game. So who knows what will happen after Trump? And there will be an end to Trump. 8 years. There will be an end. What will happen, you see? Can we go back and restore the old system? Or will we create a new America, a new whole that contains the pairs of opposites, the positive and the negative, a new political system that will contain the values of both left and right, because they both have value. The only problem is neither one can remove the other because they're both valuable. You see? You can't, when you have a positive and a negative side, they're both valuable to the battery. The battery can't remove the negative and just have positive. It won't work. It has to come up with a battery or a system or a new idea that contains both negative and positive and negative, that contains the ambiguity. And that generates new energy. And that's the American system. The American system, the Constitution, is designed to contain polarity so it generates new Americas, new ideas, new wholes that includes more people, that includes new ideas, because life is always changing. So you have to have a new idea contain the change that's happening. Old ideas don't hold it anymore because the light world has changed. The old ideas don't hold globalization. You can't go back home again, you see. You can't contain, you have to create a new vision, you see. So Trump, I see Trump as basically the grain of sand in the oyster. We got to create a pearl out of this thing. We got to create a pearl. So, okay, thanks for dropping in, and I'll see you in the morning, and I hope I won't talk about Trump. And please, don't get into this and think, well, why are you always bashing Trump? What about Hillary? Well, we're looking at this as America and the wide-angle view and what's going on, what's going on. We have to understand it. Understanding creates the bigger view. Without understanding, you can't create a bigger vision. Without understanding, you're just locked in the back gridlock, you see, trying to kill the other guy. Hillary did it. No, Trump did it. No, Obama did it. No, Trump did it. Boom, 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 you see. So, thanks for dropping in.